Alex Cardinale. Entertainment all day. Click, dive deep. Color on the screen runs free. Tropical fins, bright reef. Whole ocean.
I'm Alex Cardinale, and I personally would like to welcome you to this presentation of the Alex Cardinale Entertainment YouTube channel. I hope you enjoy this special live stream right here on A.C.E.
Watching A.C.E.
Welcome to Turning Point with Alex Cardinale. Discover the stories behind the headlines. Join us on an enlightening journey as we delve into the world of tragedies and natural disasters that have shaped history in the United States and around the globe. Our show, Turning Point with Alex Cardinale, is here to uncover what caused these impactful events. What valuable lessons can we learn from them? How do they continue to influence our world today? Don't miss out. Stay informed and inspired as we explore the unexpected turning points that define our world. Whether you're a history buff, a lifelong learner, or simply curious, there's something for everyone. Let's turn these moments of adversity into opportunities for growth and understanding. Together, we can transform knowledge into action. And now, please welcome your host Alex Cardinale live from Port St. Lucie, Florida.
Welcome to Turning Point with me, Alex Cardinale, where we study tragedies from start to finish. Tonight on Turning Point, we're going to learn about the deadliest train crashes right here in the United States of America. You know, United States of America has been around for 250 years, and there has been some horrific train crashes. Tonight on Turning Point, we're going to learn all about deadly train crashes. We're going to start the show by learning about the science behind the train crashes, and then we're going to learn about some of the deadliest train crashes. So here's what's on the agenda for tonight's episode. What causes train crashes? Why are most train crashes fatal? What to do in a train crash? And learn about deadliest train crashes such as the San Bernardino train crash and more. All that right here, right now on Turning Point with Alex Cardinale. If you have any questions, please feel free to post them in the chat. And as always, thank you for watching. So let's go ahead and get started. And we're going to start by talking about the science behind a train crash. And we're going to talk about what causes a train to potentially crash. So what causes trains to crash? Train crashes are complex events that rarely stem from a single source. But data from the Federal Railroad Administration shows that human error, track defects, and equipment failures are the primary causes of railway accidents. Because trains travel at high speeds and carry massive weight, even minor mechanical anomalies or slight operational misjudgments can escalate into severe collisions or derailments. The primary causes of train crashes generally fall into 5 distinct categories. The first category is human error. Human mistakes account for more than 1/3 of all train accidents. These can involve the train crew, dispatchers, or maintenance workers. Excessive speed, traveling too fast around curves or through restricted zones can cause a train to lift off the tracks. Signal violations, missing or misinterpreting a red signal can put a train on a collision course with another locomotive. Fatigue and distraction, long hours and exhausting shifts can drastically reduce a conductor's or engineer's reaction time. Improper train handling, failing to manage the severe physical forces, slack action, traveling through miles of connected cars can trigger a derailment. Track and infrastructure defects. The physical integrity of the railroad infrastructure is critical. When tracks break down, trains leave the rails. Broken rails and welds. Tiny internal fractures from constant heavy stress are a leading root cause of track-related derailments. Gauge widening. The immense weight of a freight train can push the two parallel rails too far apart, causing wheels to drop into the center. Switch failures. If a track switch, the mechanism that allows a train to change tracks, fails to completely move or align, the train will derail. Equipment and mechanical failures. Trains are complex machines with thousands of components that undergo extreme friction and stress. Overheated bearings. Wheel bearings can fail rapidly, seizing up and causing catastrophic axle failure within minutes. Brake malfunctions. Faulty air brakes or hydraulic systems can completely disrupt a train's ability to stop or slow down in time. Broken wheels or axles. Manufacturing defects or poor rolling stock maintenance can cause a wheel to suddenly disintegrate while in motion. Grade crossing collisions. Many train crashes happen at the intersection where a public road meets the train tracks, known as a grade crossing. Reckless driving. Motorists attempting to beat the train often get stuck or struck on the tracks. Signal device malfunctions. Broken crossing arms or dead warning lights fail to alert drivers that a train is rapidly approaching. Poor visibility. Overgrown vegetation, debris, or sharp curves can block a driver's line of sight to an oncoming locomotive. Environmental and outside factors. Nature and external interference can unexpectedly compromise an otherwise safe trip. Extreme weather. Severe summer heat can physically buckle steel tracks into sun kinks, while intense freezing can cause steel rails to snap under pressure. Obstructions, landslides, fallen trees, or heavy debris left on the tracks can easily derail a speeding train. And finally, improper cargo loading. Overloading a train or failing to balance freight shifted weight mid-journey can tear the train off of its trajectory. And those are the reasons why trains crash. Those are the reasons that cause trains to crash. All right, right now we're going to talk about why almost all train crashes are fatal and why almost all train crashes have at least one death in them. It seems that when there's a train crash, there's always someone that gets injured or someone perishes. So here are why train crashes are almost always fatal. Now, train crashes are actually not almost always fatal, as most involve slow-moving derailments in freight yards. But when high-speed collisions do occur, The survival rate drops drastically due to the extreme physical forces involved. The high fatality rate in major rail accidents is driven by several stark engineering and physics realities. Massive kinetic energy, immensely heavy mass. A fully loaded freight train can weigh over 10,000 tons, while passenger trains weigh hundreds of tons. Unstoppable momentum. Because mass is so high, the energy released during a sudden stop is catastrophic. Distribution of force. When a train hits an object, that massive energy has to go somewhere. It physically crushes steel, tears apart passenger cars, and violently throws human bodies. Lack of basic safety restraints. No seatbelts. Most passenger trains do not have seatbelts or airbags. The human missile effect. During a sudden crash, unbuckled passengers are thrown forward at the train's original speed, colliding violently with walls, tables, luggage, or other people. Blunt force trauma. The interior of a train car consists of hard metal, glass, and heavy plastic, which cause fatal internal injuries upon impact. And then there are structural failures. Telescoping. In a head-on or rear-end collision, the frame of one train can ride up and slice completely through the cabin of the adjacent car. Derailment rollovers. When a train leaves the tracks at high speeds, cars frequently flip over or roll down embankments, crushing the occupants inside. Hazardous cargo. Freight train crashes often include toxic chemicals, flammable gases, or crude oil, leading to massive explosions and fires that engulf the wreckage. Long braking distances. Steel on steel. Trains rely on steel wheels sliding on steel rails, which creates very little friction compared to rubber tires on asphalt. Delayed reaction. A train traveling at 60 miles per hour can take over a mile to come to a complete stop after the emergency brakes are applied, meaning impacts almost always happen at near full speed. And that is why train crashes are almost always fatal and why some of them will have fatalities. But fortunately, it is now 2026, and in 2026, we have technology. And technology is a great thing for things like this, because in 2026, trains now have a program called CEM, which stands for Crash Energy Management. And now we're going to talk about what exactly CEM is. I'll tell you what Crash Energy Management is right now. All right, so Crash Energy Management is a modern rail vehicle design philosophy that treats a train like a giant automobile with engineered crumple zones. Historically, rail car design focused strictly on building rigid, indestructible passenger cars. However, if a train cannot deform during a crash, the immense kinetic energy is transferred directly to the passengers, causing severe trauma. Instead of fighting the impact forces, a CEM system safely absorbs and dissipates the energy in unoccupied locations of the train in a controlled, progressive manner. The core philosophy: two distinct zones. A train equipped with CEM technology is divided into two structural regions. The occupied volume. The passenger cabin and driver's cab are engineered as a ultra-rigored, non-deformable survival cage. It is built to resist crushing, keeping the breathing space intact. Sacrificial crush zones. These are designated, completely unoccupied spaces located at the ends of each rail car, such as near bustables or service closets. These areas are designed to collapse sequentially to absorb the kinetic energy. Key medical components of CEM. Modern systems use an array of specialized hardware pioneered by safety regulators like the Federal Railroad Administration and manufacturers like Dellner. Pushback couplers. In normal operations, the coupler connects the cars. During a high-force impact, a shear pin or hydraulic mechanism triggers, allowing the coupler to slide backward into the frame. This brings the flat faces of the adjacent train cars together smoothly rather than letting them twist or derail. Deformable anti-climbers. Conventional train crashes are lethal because a heavier train can ride up over the frame of a smaller train, slicing through the passenger cabin, telescoping. Anti-climbers feature heavy interlocking horizontal steel teeth. Upon impact, the teeth mesh together to lock the trains on the same vertical level, while a built-in honeycomb structure crushes to absorb the force. Gas hydraulic and reversible dampers. For minor impacts like rough yard switching, these dampers absorb the energy reversibly, resetting themselves without permanent damage to the train structure. Crash boxes and structural deformation tubes. Located behind the couplers, these are hollow metal components engineered with predictable failure points. Under severe stress, they fold neatly like an accordion, consuming a massive amount of kinetic energy. Why CEM is highly effective. The primary goal of CEM is not just to save the train, but to slow down the human body safely. It prevents the two most dangerous modes of train failure. It reduces deceleration, the G-force peak. By allowing the train to crush progressively, the impact time is extended by fractions of a second. This lowers the peak G-forces acting on passengers inside, meaning they are thrown forward with less lethal force. It prevents lateral buckling. In a standard crash, a train can bend out like a folding accordion, causing cars to derail and roll down embankments. CEM forces keep the line of cars perfectly straight, upright, and safely on the tracks. And that is crash energy management and why it is so important. All right, right now, let's talk about, for example, God forbid, if any one of us got into a train crash, how can we survive a train crash? Well, here is an answer that I found. Here is how to survive a train crash. The best way to survive a train crash is to sit in a rear-facing seat located in the middle cars of the train. Now, while rail accidents are rare, knowing where to sit and how to react during an emergency drastically increases your chance of survival. If you find yourself in a train accident, use these immediate strategies to protect yourself. Know where to sit before the journey. Your seat selection is the most critical factor in surviving an impact. Choose middle cars. Avoid the very first car because they are vulnerable to head-on collisions, and avoid the last car because they're vulnerable to rear-end impact. The middle car absorbs the least amount of direct force. Pick a rear-facing seat. If available, sit facing backward. During a sudden force impact, The inertia will push you safely back into your seat cushion rather than launching you forward across the cabin. Stay in the aisle seat. Window seats put you at a higher risk of being crushed by collapsing cabin walls or injured by flying shattered glass. What to do during the impact? You will only have a split second between hearing the emergency brakes and the actual impact. Get low and brace. Drop to the floor immediately if you can. If you cannot get to the floor, bend forward, bringing your chest to your knees and cover the back of your head and neck with your hands. Tuck your limbs. Keep your arms and legs tucked close to your body to prevent them from being snapped or broken by flying debris. Do not try to stand. Do not attempt to run to an exit or grab your luggage while the train is decelerating. You will be thrown like a missile. Immediate actions post-crash. The moments immediately following a crash are highly dangerous due to secondary risks like fires, structural collapse, or oncoming trains. Assess for fires and hazards. Check your immediate surroundings for smoke, fire, or exposed electrical wires before moving. Leave everything behind. Do not waste time looking for bags, laptops, or jackets. Luggage will slow down your escape and block narrow aisles for others. Locate emergency exits. Look for overhead emergency exit windows. Most modern trains have red pull cords or break glass hammers nearby. Kick out the glass only if the door is completely jammed. Exit away from other tracks. When escaping the train, step out on the side away from parallel tracks. Nearby tracks may still have active speeding train traffic that you cannot see. Move to safety. Get at least 100 to 200 feet away from the wreckage to protect yourself from potential fuel explosions, toxic cargo leaks, or rolling cars. And that is how you can survive a train crash. Now, being in a train crash is very rare, but it is quite possible to come across a train crash. So here is what to do in the unlikely event that you come across a train accident or a train crash. Here's everything you should do, whether or not it happened just as you got there or before. Here's what you do. If you come across a train crash, the most critical step is to call emergency services immediately and give them the exact milepost or crossing number found on the nearby signal, bungalow, or blue sign. Being the first person on the scene of a rail accident is dangerous. Knowing how to safely handle a situation can save lives without putting your own at risk. Protect yourself. First, before you help anyone else, you must ensure you do not become a victim. Stay off the tracks. Never walk directly on or between the rails. A second train could be approaching from either direction, and modern trains are surprisingly quiet until they are right on top of you. Watch for downed wires. Passenger trains often rely on overhead wires or a high voltage third rail. Assume any lost or fallen wires are live and highly lethal. Assess the cargo. Look closely at the freight cars. If you see hazardous material play cards, diamond-shaped signs with numbers, smell chemical odors, or see fires, move at least half a mile upwind immediately. Identify the location. Railroad dispatchers need a precise information to stop all active train traffic in the area. Find the ENS sign. Look for a blue emergency notification system sign located on the metal signal boxes or crossing posts near the tracks. Report the numbers. Read the DOT national crossing number, which is 6 digits followed by a letter. That is the Department of Transportation number. and the toll-free railroad emergency phone number listed on that sign. This is the fastest way for railroads to halt nearby oncoming trains. Call 911. Once you have the location details, call emergency services and provide clear, actionable data. State clearly that there is a train derailment or collision. Give the E&S crossing number, milepost, or nearest street intersection. Report visible details. Are there fires? Is it a passenger or freight train? Are people trapped? Provide safe first aid if safe to approach. Only approach the wreckage if there is no fire, no electric hazard, and no sign of leaking chemicals. Do not move fractured victims unless there is an immediate threat of fire or explosion. Do not move severely injured people. Doing so can cause permanent spinal damage. Direct the walking wounded. Loudly call out to any mobile survivors and direct them to walk away from the tracks to a safe designated assembly area. And triage severe bleeding. Focus your immediate energy on stopping catastrophic bleeding by applying direct heavy pressure to wounds using clean cloths or shirts. Clear the way for first responders. When emergency vehicles arrive, they need immediate unblocked access to the tracks. Move your vehicle. Ensure your car is parked far away from the crossing or access roads. And brief the command post. Find the lead paramedic or police officer, give them a quick summary of what you saw, and point them toward the most severely injured survivors. And that is what to do if you spot a train crash. And that is the science behind train crashes. We are now ready to talk about the deadliest train crashes in American history. So, coming up next, we're going to talk about the most infamous train crashes. But first, we're going to hear a word from our sponsor. Turning Point is proudly presented by Sensational Pool Systems, LLC. Have a pool or pond in South Florida? Sensational Pool Systems, LLC will gladly help take care of your pond or pool. Here is some more information on Sensational Pool Systems, LLC. When we come back, we'll talk about the most deadliest and infamous train crashes.
Is your pool looking a little green around the gills? Or maybe your pond needs a little pick-me-up. Look no further than Sensational Pool Systems, LLC, your local experts in pool and pond services. Based right here in sunny South Florida, we're a veteran-owned business committed to customer satisfaction above all else. From transforming your pool from green to pristine with our professional cleaning services starting at just $100 a month, to handling all your repair and installation needs, we've got you covered. Our comprehensive pond services include cleanings, maintenance, and more. Plus, we offer koi and goldfish upon request to bring your pond to life. We proudly serve West Palm Beach, Jupiter, Royal Palm, Riviera, Boynton Beach, Lake Worth, and beyond. Ready to dive into a sensational experience? Contact us today at 561-785-9561 or sensationalpoolsystemsllc@gmail.com. Your dream pool or pond is just a call away. Sensational Pool Systems LLC, making your water sensational.
All right, the deadliest and most infamous train crash in United States history is the Great Train Wreck of 1918 in Nashville, Tennessee, which claimed the lives of 101 people. Because trains were the primary mode of long-distance travel and freight transport for generations, early safety failures led to several high-profile disasters that completely reshaped modern rail regulations. The most notorious train crashes in American history include the Great Train Wreck of 1918 in Nashville, Tennessee. We're going to highlight this one in depth in our main event tonight. The death toll was 101 fatalities and 171 injuries. What happened? Two heavily packed passenger trains collided head-on at full speed on a single track section of the Nashville, Chattanooga, and St. Louis Railway. The cause: human error and miscommunication. A crew mistakenly believed the oncoming train had already passed, failing to look at the track registry or wait for the clear signal. The force of the impact utterly splintered the wooden passenger cars. The Malboon Street wreck of 1918 in Brooklyn, New York. The death toll, at least 93 fatalities. What happened? A crowded 5-car commuter train on the Brooklyn Rapid Transit System entered a sharp tunnel curve at an astronomical speed. The train derailed violently inside the tunnel, shredding the wooden cars against the concrete walls. The cause: a motorman strike forced the company to use the inexperienced substitute driver. The driver was unfamiliar with the route and entered a 6-mile-per-hour curve at over 30 miles per hour. The disaster led to the rapid phasing out of wooden subway cars in favor of steel bodies. The Wellington Avalanche of 1910, Wellington, Washington. The death toll, 96 fatalities. What happened? Two Great Northern trains, a passenger train and a mail train, were trapped on the tracks for days by a massive blizzard in the Cascade Mountains. A sudden lightning strike triggered a colossal avalanche that swept both trains off the ledge and 150 feet deep into a canyon. The cause: environmental factors. This remains the deadliest avalanche-related rail disaster in U.S. history and prompted the railroad to build extensive concrete snow sheds over mountain tracks. The 1993 Big Bayou Canal rail accident. The death toll, 47 facilities and 103 injuries. What happened? Amtrak's Sunset Limited was traveling at 70 miles per hour when it struck a deformed bridge over a bayou, causing the locomotives and multiple passenger cars to plunge into the water and ignite. The cause: heavy fog and low visibility caused a commercial towboat pushing barges to strike the bridge minutes early, displacing the rail tracks by several inches. Because the rails did not snap, the electrical circuit stayed intact, and the train received a false green light signal to cross the compromised bridge. The 2015 Philadelphia Amtrak derailment. The death toll, eight deaths and over 200 injured. Amtrak Northeast Regional Train 188 entered a sharp left-hand curve at more than double the posted speed limit, causing the locomotive and 7 passenger cars to derail. The cause: engineer loss of sensational awareness. The National Transportation Safety Board determined that the engineer became distracted by radio traffic concerning a nearby commuter train that had been struck by a rock. This modern tragedy accelerated the federal mandate for positive train control, an automated system that automatically slows down trains if human operators fail to do so. And those are just some of the most infamous train crashes here in the United States of America. We are now going to talk about the most deadliest, and we're going to start by talking about the San Bernardino train crash, and then we'll talk about the Sunset Limited derailment. But first, I want to tell you about an exciting event coming to my YouTube channel. It is a full week dedicated to the Amazon River and rainforest, and it is only 2 weeks away. I can't wait to celebrate the Amazon River and rainforest. Now, a part of Amazonian Week, we are going to host an episode of Turning Point, and we're going to focus on some of the deadliest tragedies in South America and the Amazon River. As you see up on the screen, that is a full lineup of shows. It kicks off on Sunday, June 21st, with a celebration of the Amazon River and rainforest. Monday, we'll talk about popular aquarium fish from the Amazon. And then we'll talk about jaguars, anacondas, Amazonian crimes, Amazonian tragedies, Amazonian Saturday with Alex Cardinale, and it concludes with unique Amazonian animals. Takes place Sunday, June 21st to Sunday, June 28th, 2026, right here on the Alex Cardinale Entertainment YouTube channel. And here is some more information about this exciting week of events. When we come back, we'll talk about the San Bernardino train crash. Alex Cardinale here, and it's no secret, I love the Amazon rainforest and the animals that live there. As a matter of fact, 90% of the fish that I keep come from the Amazon River and South America. So, I hereby announce the Alex Cardinale Entertainment is thrilled to announce the inaugural Amazonian Week, a captivating series of live streams and videos dedicated to celebrating and raising awareness about the Amazon rainforest. From Monday, June 22nd to Sunday, June 28th, 2026, join me for an immersive journey into the heart of the world's largest rainforest. I am proud to announce that in June, I will be hosting an entire week of live streams and videos dedicated to the Amazon River in South America. This will be a yearly event to raise awareness for the largest rainforest in the world, the people that live there, and of course, educate about the different animal species that call the Amazon home. Event highlights: Amazonian Saturday with Alex Cardinale. On Saturday, June 27th, 2026, enjoy Amazonian Saturday with Alex Cardinale. This special day will feature interactive content such as 3 rounds of Two Truths and a Lie centered around the Amazon rainforest and South America. The day's segments will delve into the fascinating world of Amazonian animals, Amazonian fish, and more. Here is the weekly schedule for the very first Amazonian week. Monday, June 22nd, aquatic wetline with Aqua Alex, Amazonian fish. Tuesday, June 23rd, jaguars with me, Alex Cardinale. Wednesday, June 24th, we'll learn about anacondas. Thursday, June 25th, Detective Alex Cardinale will talk about crimes that took place in the Amazon rainforest and South America. Friday, June 26th, it'll be an episode of Turning Point, and we'll talk about some tragedies that took place in the Amazon. And Saturday, June 27th, will be Amazonian Saturday with Alex Cardinale. And it all concludes on Sunday, June 28th, with Dolphins with Alex Cardinale. Don't miss Amazonian Week taking place Monday, June 22nd through Sunday, June 28th, right here on the Alex Cardinale Entertainment YouTube channel, A.C.E. All right, and right now, let's learn about the San Bernardino train crash from 1989. The 1989 San Bernardino train disaster, often called the Duffy Street incident, is one of the most notorious accidents in American rail history because it was actually a twin tragedy. An initial high-speed runaway train devastation was followed exactly 13 days later by a catastrophic pipeline explosion at the exact same location. The disaster unfolded in 2 distinct fatal stages. Part 1, the runaway train, May 12, 1989. Southern Pacific freight train Extra 7551 East was a massive 69-car train carrying 9,000 short tons of trana, a heavy mineral used in fertilizer, from California's Mojo Desert down the steep 2.2% downgrade of the Cajun Pass. The weight miscalculation. A clerk estimated the cargo weight at 6,150 tons. In reality, it weighed about 3,000 tons more than reported. Based on the false lighter estimate, the railroad did not assign enough locomotives to safely handle the descent. The braking failure. Out of the train's 6 locomotives, only 3 had functioning dynamic brakes, electric braking systems used for mountain descents. Unaware of this, the engineer relied heavily on the mechanical air brakes. The fatal feature. As the train accelerated out of control, the rear helper engineer applied the emergency brakes. On that specific model of train, a built-in safety mechanism automatically disabled all dynamic brakes when the emergency brake was pulled to prevent the wheels from locking up. The impact. With no dynamic braking and completely overheated air brakes, the 9,000-ton train became a runaway rocket. It barreled down the mountain and flew off a 35-mile-per-hour curve at 110 miles per hour, plowing directly into a residential neighborhood on Duffy Street. Casualties. The initial derailment completely leveled 7 homes, killing 2 train crew members inside the cab and 2 young children, ages 7 and 9, who were sleeping in their homes. Part 2. The pipeline explosion, May 25th, 1989. Buried 6 feet directly beneath the Duffy Street derailment site was a 14-inch high-pressure steel pipeline that carried 90% of Las Vegas petroleum and gasoline supplies. The cleanup damage. Heavy earth-moving equipment, cranes, and bulldozers spent days clearing the massive locomotives and thousands of tons of trana. Although the pipeline was marked with stakes, the heavy machinery repeatedly struck and scraped the underground pipe, leaving severe tooth marks in the steel. The rupture. Rather than expecting the structural integrity of the line after the heavy machinery left, the pipeline company repressurized it. 13 days after the train crash, the weakened pipe burst under intense pressure. The inferno. The pipeline shot a 300-foot plume of burning gasoline into the air, showering the recovering neighborhood in flames. The fire burned for 7 hours, destroying 11 more homes and killing 2 more people. The lasting industry legacy. The compounding disasters completely reshaped modern transit and industrial safety regulations. The maximum weight rule. Southern Pacific changed its policy so that if a cargo weight is unknown or incomplete, dispatchers must legally assume the train is filled to maximum capacity to ensure adequate locomotive braking power. FRA brake override. The Federal Railroad Administration permanently ordered train manufacturers to change their electrical wiring so that dynamic brakes will remain active even during an emergency air brake application. And no build zones. The local government turned the destroyed portion of Duffy Street into a permanent no-build zone, and a memorial was erected to honor the neighborhood victims and fallen railway workers. And that is the San Bernardino train crash from 1989. All right, right now we're going to talk about the Sunset Limited derailment. And because the Sunset Limited was 2 trains and 2 separate train crashes, we're going to talk about them both. So here is the Sunset. I'll show you a graphic comparing the two accidents side by side. The first train wreck was in 1993, and the second was in 1995 from the Sunset Limited derailment. All right, so the first train wreck is known as the 1993 Big Bayou Canoe disaster, and that took place in Mobile County, Alabama. That was an accidental collision. That one had 47 deaths, which is the deadliest in Amtrak history. A barge struck a rail bridge in dense fog. It is resolved. It led to maritime industry reform. The second crash happened in 1995. It is the 1995 Palo Verde derailment that took place in Palo Verde, Arizona. It was a deliberate sabotage terrorism train crash. One person died. It was a sleeping car attendant. Tracks were intentionally unbolted in the desert, and it is currently unsolved cold case. So those are the two train crashes for the Sunset Limited derailment. So let's go over both of them now. Let's start with the 1993 one. The 1993 Alabama accident, Big Bayou Canoe, on September 22nd, 1993, the eastbound Sunset Limited was traveling through a heavy, blinding fog in an Alabama swamp. The bridge impact. Minutes earlier, an untrained commercial towboat pilot became lost in the fog and accidentally pushed heavy steel barges into a Bayou rail bridge. The collision violently displaced a bridge grader and twisted the tracks by 3 feet. The signal illusion. Crucially, the steel rails buckled but did not break completely. Because the track's electrical circuit loop remained closed, the automated signal system gave the oncoming train a false green light. The crash. The train hit the displaced bridge at 70 miles per hour, sending 3 locomotives and 4 cars plunging into the water where fuel tanks ruptured and ignited. The 1995 Arizona sabotage. On October 9th, 1995, the westbound Sunset Limited was traveling with 258 passengers through a remote section of the Sonoran Desert. The act of terror. Saboteurs walked onto a remote trestle bridge, removed 29 heavy metal track spikes, and mechanically shifted a rail out of alignment, exploiting the signal loop. Showing professional knowledge of railroad operations, the perpetrators attached a red electrical bypass wire across the gap where the truck was modified. This intentionally kept the track circuit closed, trapping the crew with another false green light. The investigation. The train derailed at 1:35 a.m., sending 4 cars into a dry riverbed. Anti-government notes signed by an unnamed group called the Sons of Gestapo were found at the scene, but the FBI Phoenix field office believes this was a misdirection. The case remains completely open, and those are the 2 Sunset Limited derailments. Well, coming up next, we're going to talk about a train crash from 2008. It is the Chatsworth train crash. It is the only train crash that happened as a result of the driver of the train utilizing social media and sending text messages. So learn about the Chatsworth train crash and more coming up next. But first, let's hear a word from our flagship program. And let's hear a word from Saturday with Alex Cardinale. Now, this Saturday, we have a very special episode of Saturday with Alex Cardinale. This Saturday, we're going to be celebrating 10 years of Brandy the Beagle. She is my Beagle Queen. You'll meet Brandy. You'll see a 10-year compilation video of Brandy. You'll get facts on Beagles, plus everything you already love about Saturday with Alex Cardinale. That's this Saturday, June 13th, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. More on this Saturday's episode later on in the show. But for now, here is all about my flagship program, Saturday with Alex Cardinale.
Tune in to Saturday with Alex Cardinale, your weekend entertainment and educational talk show, airing every Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, on YouTube channel Alex Cardinale Entertainment, youtube.com/Alex Cardinale 2026. Join us for an exciting weekend experience with Saturday with Alex Cardinale, where entertainment meets education in the most fun way possible. Since its debut in 2022, the show has been a hub of excitement, blending Alex's diverse passions into one spectacular program. What to expect? Tropical fish adventures. Dive deep into the world of aquatics with Aqua Alex Cardinale as your guide. Culinary delights. Get inspired in the kitchen with unique cooking tips and recipes from Chef Alex Cardinale. WWE Insights. Stay up to date with the latest happenings in the world of wrestling. Sports passion. Cheer along with Alex's favorite teams, the New York Yankees and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Mystery unraveled. Join Detective Alex Cardinale for thrilling investigations. Saturday Buzzer. Alex has 5 minutes to discuss a topic. If he succeeds, viewers must do a favor for Alex. If he fails, he must pay the piper. Hot Take. Alex's take on popular or controversial topics. And so much more. Special appearances by Chef Alex Cardinale, bringing you culinary wonders. Aqua Alex Cardinale, your aquatic expert. Detective Alex Cardinale, solving the mysteries that intrigue you. Get involved. Host your own segment. Have a passion or talent you want to share on the show? Email us at alexgoyankeescardinale19@gmail.com to become a part of the Saturday with Alex Cardinale family. Join us every Saturday for a blend of entertainment, learning, and fun with Alex Cardinale. Don't miss out on this vibrant weekend adventure every Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific.
All right, I look forward to seeing you this Saturday. Right now, let's talk about the Chatsworth train collision. The 2008 Chatsworth train collision is one of the most significant and culturally impactful rail disasters in modern U.S. history because it directly resulted from an engineer texting while on duty. The catastrophe caused 25 deaths and 102 injuries, completely transforming federal rail safety legislation and forcing the mandatory implementation of automatic braking technology across the USA. The disaster occurred at approximately 4:22 p.m. in the Chatsworth district of Los Angeles, California. Metrolink commuter train 111, carrying 222 passengers, departed the Chatsworth station heading westbound. At the exact same time, a heavy Union Pacific freight train was traveling eastbound on the same line. The single track bottleneck. The stretch of rail ahead was a single track. The Union Pacific freight train had been given the clear right of way by dispatchers to exit the single track. The Metrolink commuter train was strictly required to wait at a designated control point until the freight train safely passed. The signal violation. The track signal at control point Topanga was a clear, solid red light. However, the Metrolink passenger train blew past the red light at 42 miles per hour and entered the single track zone directly in the path of the oncoming freight train. The impact. Because the track was highly curved and visibility was obstructed by terrain, neither crew saw the other until it was too late. The two trains collided head-on at a combined speed of over 80 miles per hour. The massive Metrolink locomotive telescoped backward a staggering 52 feet into the first passenger car, instantly crushing the forward survival compartment. The NTSB launched an extensive investigation and pointed to a shocking root cause. The Metrolink engineer, 46-year-old Robert Sanchez, was actively text messaging on his cell phone. Cell phone forensics. Phone records revealed that Sanchez was exchanging text messages with young rail enthusiasts. He had sent 24 texts and received 21 while operating the train earlier that day. Fatal timing. Sanchez sent his final text message at 4:22:01 p.m., a mere 22 seconds before the catastrophic impact. Because he was looking down at his phone, he completely missed the red signal and never applied the emergency brakes. Sanchez was among the 25 people killed in the crash. The Chatsworth crash triggered a massive public outcry that completely altered railroad operations in the USA. The mandatory PTC Act. In direct response to Chatsworth, Congress passed the Rail Safety Improvement Act of 2008. This law mandated that all major U.S. railroads implement positive train control. PTC is a Sorry about that. PTC is a GPS and radio-based system that monitors train locations and automatically overrides human control to apply the brakes if an engineer accidentally runs a red signal or exceeds the speed limit. Also, they incorporated in-cab audio and video cameras, and now there is a strict cell phone ban where no cell phones are allowed to be used by the train engineer or anyone driving or working a train. Now let's talk about the Malbone Street wreck. This is a deadly street wreck from 1918 in New York. The Malbone Street wreck of 1918 is the deadliest disaster in the history of the New York City subway system. Occurring on November 1st, 1918 in Brooklyn, New York, the crash resulted in at least 93 fatalities and over 100 injuries. The catastrophe shattered public trust, bankrupted the operating transit company, and permanently changed how subway cars are built. The background, the motorman strike. The disaster was directly triggered by a labor dispute. On the morning of November 1st, the Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineers went on strike against the Brooklyn Rapid Transit Company. Desperate to keep the trains running, BRT officials quickly deployed office clerks, dispatchers, and crew members with minimal training to operate the subway cars. One of those substitutes was 25-year-old Antonio Edward Luciano, a crew dispatcher who had never operated a passenger train on that specific route and had only received a few hours of yard switching instruction. Luciano was given control of a crowded 5-car commuter train during the chaotic evening rush hour. The train consisted of 3 wooden passenger cars sandwiched between 2 heavier steel cars. Because of the strike delays, Luciano's train was rerouted. Instead of taking his familiar path, he was directed down the Brighton Beach line towards a treacherous, sharply curved tunnel beneath Malbone Street, now known as Emperor Boulevard. The speeding violation. The approach to the Malbone Street tunnel required navigating a steep downgrade followed immediately by a sharp S-curve. The safely posted speed limit for this section was just 6 miles per hour. Lucille was going an estimated 30 to 40 miles per hour. The catastrophic destruction. The massive centrifugal force violently derailed the train just as it entered the tunnel. The wooden car trap. While the heavy steel cars sustained manageable damage, the fragile wooden passenger cars were launched off the tracks and smashed directly into the tunnel's concrete internal pillars. The pillars acted like a meat grinder, completely slicing and splintering the wooden car bodies into thousands of sharp projectiles, instantly killing or trapping the tightly packed commuters inside. The drivers escaped. Remarkably, Luciano walked away from the wreckage virtually uninjured. Panicked, he left the scene and went home, where police arrested him hours later. The trial and radical safety reforms. The sheer horror of the Malbone street wreck forced immediate, permanent changes across the entire American mass transit industry. It included the ban of wooden cars and the birth of the Brooklyn Manhattan Transit Cooperation. And that is the Malbone street wreck, a Malbone train crash. All right, coming up next, we're going to have two more train crashes to talk about, and then we'll wrap up this show. But first, here's what you can expect on this Saturday's Epic Saturday with Alex Cardinale.
Celebrate Brandy the Beagle Cardinale's 10th birthday. Join us for a positively fun celebration as we honor the one and only Brandy the Beagle Cardinale on her 10th birthday. Event details. Date, Saturday, June 13th, 2026. Time, 10 p.m. ET, 7 p.m. PT. Where? Alex Cardinale Entertainment YouTube channel. What to expect? Meet Brandy the Beagle. Get to know the birthday queen herself. Brandy's journey. Watch how Brandy has evolved from a tiny 8-week-old pup to the fabulous 10-year-old beagle she is today. All about Brandy. Discover fun facts and stories about Brandy's life and personality. Beagle Fun Facts. Learn some interesting facts about beagles, including their history and characteristics. Game time. Play 2 truths and a lie, focusing on beagles and the beloved Snoopy. And so much more. Don't miss out on this tail-wagging celebration. Subscribe to the Alex Cardinale Entertainment YouTube channel and set a reminder for this special live event. Let's make Brandy's birthday a howling success.
Let's get ready to celebrate a Beagle Queen's birthday on the next Saturday with Alex Cardinale. Live this Saturday, June 13th, 2026, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. It is Saturday with Brandy and Alex Cardinale, where we'll be celebrating Brandy's 10th birthday. It is going to be an awesome episode of Saturday with Alex Cardinale, featuring facts on beagles, get to know Brandy, meet Brandy, and also the Saturday Buzzer will be on fun activities to do with beagles. Hot Take will be on greatest WWE tag teams. Plus, True Crime will focus on a car crash that resulted in a murder. All that and more live this Saturday, June 13th, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. It's a special Saturday with Brandy and Alex Cardinale right here on Alex Cardinale Entertainment YouTube channel. All right, and very quickly, we're going to talk about the last 2 train crashes, and then we will end this episode. So the 2015 Philadelphia Amtrak derailment was Amtrak Northeast Regional Train 188. It is one of the most high-profile passenger rail accidents in modern U.S. history. The disaster resulted in 8 fatalities and over 200 injuries, serving as the final catalyst that forced the federal government to mandate automatic braking technology on nationwide rail networks. The sequence of events, May 12, 2015. The accident occurred at approximately 9:23 p.m. in the Port Richmond neighborhood of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Train 188 was traveling northbound from Washington, D.C. to New York City, carrying 238 passengers and 5 crew members. As the train approached Frankfurt Junction, a sharp left-hand curve, it accelerated rapidly. The posted speed limit for that specific curve was strictly 50 miles per hour. However, the engineer accelerated the train to a staggering 106 miles per hour, more than double the safe speed limit. The derailment. The immense centrifugal force tore the train off the tracks. The locomotive and all 7 passenger cars derailed violently. The lead passenger cars tumbled off the line and were crushed into accordion shapes against the surrounding infrastructure. And that is the Philadelphia Amtrak derailment. And now, let's talk about the worst train crash in American history. Our main event, the Great Train Crash of 1918. All right. So, the Great Train Wreck of 1918 occurred on July 9, 1918 in Nashville, Tennessee, and remains the deadliest head-on train collision in United States history. The disaster resulted in 101 deaths and an estimated 171 injuries, completely shattering early 20th century assumptions about railroad safety and operational communication. All right, so let's see here. The 2 trains involved were moving in opposite directions on a single track bottleneck of the Nashville, Chattanooga, and St. Louis Railway. An inbound passenger train traveling into Nashville. This train was packed with civilians and hundreds of African American laborers heading to work at a massive federal gunpowder plant in Old Hickory, Texas. Train number 1, the outbound troop train traveling out of Nashville toward Memphis. This train was pulling several empty wooden passenger cars heading to pick up American soldiers bound for the European front. Because both trains needed to use the exact same single track section, railroad protocol strictly required the passenger train to wait at an interlocking control section until train number 4, the soldier train, safely cleared the line. A chain of rapid operational blunders caused the system to fail. As the crew of the outbound train number 1 waited at the switch, a completely separate, unscheduled freight train rattled past. The tower operator and the train crew mistakenly assumed this freight train was the missing train number 4. And then the 2 trains collided together. While the heavy iron locomotives crumpled, the passenger cars beneath them were built primarily of wood. The force of the impact caused the cars to telescope. The rigid iron frame sliced completely through the fragile wooden cabins. The wooden cars were instantly reduced to matchwood and flying splinters. The majority of the casualties were the laborers riding in the forward wooden cars of train number 4, who were either crushed instantly or trapped underneath the heavy metal wreckage. And that is the Great Train Wreck of 1918. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Turning Point, and I hope you enjoyed learning about some of the great and some of the worst, deadliest train crashes in American history. Train crashes are rare, they barely happen, but we have learned from them. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you're looking for more episodes on American tragedies, just go to my YouTube channel. Let's see if I can get it up here. Oops. Want to learn more about American tragedies? Go to www.youtube.com/@Alex Cardinale2026 and go to my Turning Point playlist to watch our previous episodes on American tragedies. Well, this has been a fun time. I had a fun time discussing deadly train crashes. On our next episode of Turning Point, we're going to talk about deadly animal attacks. Learn about tragedies such as stingrays killing people, monkeys killing people, and more. Our next episode of Turning Point focuses on deadly animal attacks. Until then, stay safe, everyone, and thank you for watching Turning Point. Good night. I, Alex Cardinale, would like to say thank you for watching this live stream on the Alex Cardinale Entertainment YouTube channel. I personally hope you enjoyed the live stream and the video. If you did enjoy the live stream, please smash that like button and please share this video on social media so that your friends and family can enjoy it as well. If you are a first-time viewer or new to my YouTube channel, I highly recommend hitting that subscribe button and ding the notification bell for notifications when I go live next or when I upload a video. I highly recommend subscribing so you're a member of the ACE community. Thank you for watching ACE.